Hi friends, and welcome to Wives vs. World, where we have fun talking about queer stuff and life as a trans cis lesbian couple. I'm Jackie.
I'm Anya.
And today we are doing our 4K Q&A. We got a bunch of questions from you guys, both here and on Instagram, and we're going to do our best to answer these thoroughly.
It's been a whole year since our last Q&A.
Yeah, and that was a 1.5K, so we've really grown. We've really seen a lot of activity here, and it's all thanks to you guys. Thank you so much. Have an insight into our lives.
Okay, first question is, what's your favorite thing about being a queer couple?
Like getting to say that I'm gay.
That's your favorite thing?
No, maybe that's not my favorite thing. I think
Spite
is
your favorite thing.
My favorite thing about being queer is spite.
My favorite thing about being queer is the kind of unique life experience it has given me. I think it has made me way more open-minded because when you're queer, you have to kind of early on address a lot of societal expectations. You tend to be more norm questioning in general, and I think it has made me more open to questioning everything and living a more open life and not feel like I have to follow the beaten path or anything.
No, I think actually if I can change my answer, I want to change my answer to your answer because that's a much better answer. It puts you in opposition in both good and bad ways, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And not that straight cis people can't question their
No, and we encourage it.
Yeah, definitely. When you're queer, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You're forced to. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is for Jackie.
Is for me?
What are tips for passing as a teenager? She says, my name is Violet.
All
Hi,
right.
Violet.
Hi, Violet.
You came out as a teen.
You did.
Were a trans person as a teen.
I was. I think it's a really difficult question because teens come in all different varieties and shapes and sizes, and what worked for me might not work for someone else. But one thing that I think is a really good tip, if you want to pass, you can start following along with trends, and that seems like a really, really easy thing to do. But if you get on TikTok or Instagram or I don't know, do people still blog? Are people following blogs, beauty blogs? And then try to pick up some of these things, especially if you are if you're an older teen. I would say for me something that helped was starting to read up on and investigate stuff that was for younger teens, just so I could sort of brush up on the basics of, okay, how do I do clothes? How do I accessorize? How do I do makeup? Stuff like that. And then sort of build some of that tacit knowledge that I think a lot of cis women are force-fed, imbued with from society. You have to go out and find that yourself, but I think it's definitely possible.
This was completely invisible to me, that I had been taught all my life about, if your body shape is like this, then you should choose these types of clothing, and if your face is like this, you should choose this type of makeup, and of course you don't have to do anything at all. I just had a really good understanding of what would look good, and it really hit me like a brick when you were like, I don't understand. I have never heard.
What is this?
Yeah. What does it mean to make your hips look bigger or something?
Why can't I just wear this?
Yeah. Why doesn't this look good on me? And you had no clue.
Exactly.
I found that really, really interesting.
If you want to pass, and by passing I mean you want to fly somewhat under the radar, it can pay off to sort of try and blend in with society as a whole and try to meet some of these beauty standards and try to meet some of these expectations. You don't have to. If you don't want to, you really don't have to. You can do whatever you want. It can be easier, it can be nicer, it can be safer to pass, but you don't have to.
And again, the easy answer to how do I pass is to look stereotypically female.
Yeah.
And do the things that are expected of women, like have long hair, wear dresses, stuff like that. And I think that is a good way to blend in and try to pass. But I don't.
Definitely.
It's definitely not necessary, and it shouldn't be like this, but this is society right now.
No. That's something I've also griped with a bit, the whole, do I pass just for me, or am I perpetuating stereotypes by doing this? And at the end of the day, personal expression is just personal, and you can pretty much do whatever you want, but I don't know, to me it's just always been, am I doing harm by being an effeminate little wisp,
I like that.
Hopefully I'm doing more good than harm. I don't know. But thank you for your question, Violet. I like that name. It's really nice.
It's beautiful, Violet. I like flower names a lot. And this one is for me. What was your biggest struggle as a cis partner in terms of dating a trans one? People always ask me, how was it difficult? How was it hard? What was the problems about it? All these stuff. And of course I get it, but...
And there were some, for sure.
No, I don't. I just don't really think so, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I guess the biggest struggle was that you were fighting a lot with your dysphoria at some point, and you were not feeling well, and I guess that was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was difficult to accept that you felt really bad about yourself, I guess.
Oh, because I was so awesome.
Yeah, I just loved you a lot. I had no gripes with you, so. But I've thought about this a lot, and Jackie made this analogy the other day. It's kind of like if you're dating a person with one extra toe or something, it's like, sure, it's a bit unusual, but it's not like it doesn't, your whole relationship doesn't revolve around that extra toe. And if people kept coming up to you and ask, how did you deal with your partner having an extra toe? Wasn't it weird? How was your reaction to your partner having an extra toe? Sure, it's a little unusual, but I don't know, it was kind of fine. And also, why do you have such a hung up about that toe? Why do you keep talking about that extra toe? My partner is so much more.
I think also the way that media and journalists and newspapers and stuff like that, like the focus they keep on the struggle part also enforces a mentality that it should be a big deal.
Well, while I just never felt like that.
And I think that has also like stumped a lot of journalists or people who wanted to do interviews, like, oh, well, there wasn't a struggle. Actually, it's been really empowering. Like,
yeah, they can't work with that.
No, exactly. They have to do something else with it.
All
like
the interviews we've had, they've had to kind of angle it like, and insisting that this was a struggle for you, and we had to talk into that narrative because they couldn't understand a different story with it.
Another.
Okay, if you were a bird, what kind of bird would you be?
I would be, I want to say something like really common garden thing, but I also want to be like extra and go like, I want to be a penguin. Like, I want to be a penguin. Because I love swimming.
Yeah.
And also I would be like torpedo shaped, so I would be able to go like really fast.
Go fast.
Like Sonic. So yeah, I think I'm going to say, what kind of penguin you ask? Maybe a Humboldt penguin.
I think you would be a magpie though.
Why?
Because you have really pretty feathers, and you say funny sounds, and you like collecting shiny trinkets and disturb the peace. I usually say that if I were a bird, I would be a robin, the Eurasian robin or whatever it's called in English, because they stay here all winter. They appreciate the weather we have in this climate, like me, and also they fight their enemies to the death. They're very territorial, and I like that about them. And also they're really cute and pretty. Why don't you live in the cabin year-round? It's so beautiful. And thank you, I wish we could. I love this place a lot, and I wish we could stay here all year, but for 3 main reasons, it just isn't an option at all. The first one is that this place is what's called a summer house in Danish, and summer houses are usually not built with insulation, which means that in winter it's the same temperature inside as outside, which is both a problem because it's impossible to keep warm in there, and also that if it freezes outside, the water in the pipes freezes. So it isn't physically possible to live here in winter. Because of the summer house laws in Denmark, it isn't permitted to stay in a summer house all year long. You can't have a permanent address in a place like this unless you are retired. And also, in winter, it gets very, very dark here. There are no streetlights and there's no shops. There's nothing out here. It's in the middle of a forest, which I love, and it's perfect. But Jackie has visual snow. She can't see well in the dark. So it gets a little unsettling for her to be in a place in winter where
that
it's
is
really
so dark.
Yeah.
So I really prefer the city with some artificial lighting so I can actually see.
Yeah. So we like to retreat back to our little city apartment in the winter, where we can go.
The walls are this thick.
Yeah, it's warm all the time, and it's there's streetlights everywhere, and we can go to cafes and museums and all that stuff during the winter months.
Exactly. The cabin is not in the middle of nowhere, but very, very far from major cities, which is where I usually am able to find work, to avoid an hour commute both ways. I also prefer to reside in the city sometimes, so I can bike to work and stuff like that.
Yeah. Could you give a home tour? Based on the rooms you filmed in, it looks quite charming.
We can and we will.
Yeah, we will. It's upcoming, the cottage tour. And of course, for those of you who haven't been following us for a long time, we only live in the cottage in the summer months and in our small apartment in the winter months.
We don't own the cottage. We are very kindly allowed to live here by Anya's parents in return for upkeep and maintenance and keeping them company. So, but our real place of residence is a one-bedroom apartment in Copenhagen.
Yeah, coming up. Who's the cook?
I'm the cook. I cook the food.
All the food.
All the food. I love cooking. It's one of my, it started out as a necessity and then it became a hobby and then it became a passion.
You're very good at cooking.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent food and you...
I'm very bad at following recipes.
You don't have to. So
no.
That's why. Biggest pet peeve? I really dislike if you're in a school setting or something, or in a lecture setting and someone is clicking their pen. I want to lunge at them and strangle them. It makes me very annoyed.
I think, and this is showing my whole ass and how old I am and everything, but people who play loud music or TikTok videos or whatever, on the train, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because I will also be very curious and I'll be like, what you watching?
What's your favorite word?
What's my favorite word, Anya? Do I have one? Kerfuffle.
Oh, that is a good word.
I think that's a really nice word. In Danish, I think maybe, I don't know.
You don't have any favorite words in Danish?
I do, but put me on the spot and I'll be like...
I really like the word soft.
Soft.
Because it sounds... It can be used in so many different instances. What's your least favorite word? Okay, here we go.
Moist. I don't mind it so much. My least favorite word...
oh, Lord. That's my least favorite word.
Yeah. What about in English?
Something that I have trouble pronouncing. Okay, what turns you on, baby? It's a part of the question.
I think confidence really turns me on. If someone's very sure of what they want and not afraid to assert themselves.
So I think that's why you like me.
That's one of the many reasons I like you. That really turns me on. What about you?
I think unbridled loyalty. I'm not sure those words go together.
Unbridled loyalty. That turns you on?
Yeah, and androgynous beauty. That is my top one thing, I guess.
Top one?
Top one. That is my top one thing. What turns you off?
Is that the next one?
Yeah.
The patriarchy, am I right? It's related. One thing that really turns me off is bro culture or masculine.
Oh yeah,
stuff
when
like that.
Men yell or they groan in the fitness center, right?
Oh, yeah. It's such a big, it's not a red flag. And I mean, people can like what they like. If you are into that, that is so fine. For me, it just I don't like it. Maybe I have some,
complicated
feelings about masculinity. I don't really like it. Also, I think there's a lot of posturing and there's a lot of taking up a lot of space. And there can be a certain level of inherent misogyny in some of that bro culture, so it's an immediate turn off.
Yeah, I was gonna say ugly faces. No, that is a very stupid answer compared to yours. But if people make ugly faces on purpose and also gross noises. Yeah, fat human turns me off, everyone.
So fast.
What sound or noise do you love? And what sound or noise do you hate?
Love trickling water. Hate the sound of porridge bubbling on the stove.
Do you?
Yeah. You?
I don't like fart noises or...
As established.
Also, I hate the sound of touching fabric.
Oh yeah,
when people touch fabric, I cannot handle it. I can feel it in my teeth,
What about sound you love?
I love the sound of leaves rustling in the wind.
Wow.
I love the sound of my wife's voice. I'm not a very auditorial.
No, you're more like
smell
feeling and smell-o-vision.
Smells and sound. Sound?
That's exactly what we're talking about. You know, I'm not really into sounds. I'm more into smells and sounds, if you know what I mean.
Isn't that
like a fart.
How did that? What is your favorite curse word?
I like fjols. Fjols. It's really good. Like fool. Skål. Oh, there are so many good ones.
We have a lot of great curse words in Danish.
You shovel.
I don't know. I don't have one.
You don't really curse that much.
No, I don't curse.
No, you say lort sometimes.
That's my least favorite word.
Yeah, and you use it because it's your least favorite word.
It's when I'm very upset. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I'm having conflicted feelings about my profession right now, and I am actually considering switching careers, maybe even quite drastically.
Since you don't have a job right
Since I don't have a job right now, it's a perfect opportunity to try something new. Like, something that I would really love is to be a biologist, a marine biologist, or an archaeologist, and I've wanted to do either of those things since I was a kid. If you weren't an author/botanist...
This is my dream profession. I'm living the dream. Making no money, but I am living the dream. When I grew up, I always said I was gonna be...
An animal expert?
Yeah, an animal expert. Now I'm a plant expert. But I also said underwear model.
Long-haul truck driver?
Yeah, that was also one of them. And I wanted to be the CEO of a zoo.
Of a zoo?
Yeah. If I wasn't doing the thing I do now, I would like to be a farmer.
I think I'd be a good farmer.
I'm not sure that I would, but I enjoy farming. What profession would you not like to do?
I would very much not like to be a teacher. I just have no teaching skills, and I've had enough bad teachers to know that you can't force learning. And I don't really have a talent for it. Maybe I could learn, but it doesn't come naturally to me to teach.
Or something I wouldn't like to do. Be a hairdresser.
You wouldn't like that?
No, because you have to do small talk all day and you have to have your hands in water, which I can't do. Eczema! I think it's really straining for the neck, and I have enough neck problems.
That you do.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You aren't supposed to be here.
Do you have a lot of trans or queer friends too? What's the local queer community there like?
I only really got embroiled in the queer community in Copenhagen after I was done with all my studies. So I didn't grow up with a lot of queer friends or stuff like that, or have a lot of them in my childhood or youth or whatever. But I would say that maybe half of my current friends are somewhat bendy.
Well, half isn't a lot when you only have 4 friends.
Well, no, but significant. I have more than 4 friends.
Well, I don't have a lot of queer friends. We do have some, but not a lot, not the majority, I think. Anyway, if you're Danish and you're queer and you'd like to be friends, write me. What's the queer community there like? Yeah, I don't really know much about the local Danish queer community. I have never been good at immersing myself in it.
No.
We came into this whole queer thing from the back route.
Yeah.
Through the emo community, I guess. Whatever. It's my impression that there is a thriving queer community in Copenhagen.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But I don't know much about it.
We're not really part of it as much as we might want
would like
to be. Yeah.
Would you like to do a collab video with me and my trans girlfriend? Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Write us a message with a suggestion for what kind of collab you want to do.
Yeah. Get in touch on Instagram.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Do you give each other honest fashion advice?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so too.
I think that goes with the history that we have of helping me avoid dysphoria, that it has just been very important to say, what do you think about this? And then I don't want to hear you say, oh, it's fine, if it's like, it's not working.
It's not fine. Exactly, and the other way around as well. I do like an outfit and I'm like, but I'm not sure it really does this. And you're like, yeah, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. Or if you did this, that would be better. Or
exactly. Oh, interesting. Do you feel privileged being Danish?
Yes.
What does privilege feel like to you? Do you feel like your background and upbringing have made it easier to be openly queer? What's your take on religion, on belief in general, on God? Very deep question here.
Wow. Okay.
So, privilege being Danish, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
I think we are very, very lucky to be in the country that is probably one of the easiest countries in the world to be a human in general in.
Yeah, Denmark is a very affluent country, and we have socialized healthcare. We have free education, so we don't have to pay every time something in our body breaks, or if we want to take like a bachelor's or a master's degree or a PhD even. So in that way, very, very, very lucky. And we don't have that background anxiety of just like, what do I do if...
That's a huge privilege. And a lot of the things that we do now, we wouldn't have been able to do if we had been located in another place of the world.
Exactly.
So, definitely.
Privilege to me means, it doesn't necessarily mean that you get an advantage. It just means that you don't get a disadvantage, if you know what I mean. Because I think you can talk to a lot of people who'll be like, well, I'm not privileged because X, Y, Z. Yes, but like in my opinion, you've never been discriminated to, on, against, forth with, on the basis of you, for example, being white. Or being heterosexual, or stuff like that. Whereas if you're not those things, you might. So privilege to me means you don't have those obstacles.
What does it feel like to you? It definitely feels like freedom, that we are able to do a lot of things that we want to do, and that we are able to live safely. And we are both from very solidly left-leaning, middle-class Danish families, which means that we've both been brought up with a lot of love and acceptance and tolerance and
a lot of solidarity as well. I think has been a huge part of my upbringing, at least.
Exactly. So that background has definitely made it way easier. None of us have struggled with our families being homophobic or.
Neither of our families are. I don't want to say very religious. They're very atheist.
Yeah, they're extremely atheist. And that ties into the next question as well. What's your take on religion? And we're going to try to not be controversial here, but in Denmark it is very usual to be atheist. And sure, you can believe in God, but it's a choice to do that.
You have a very large part of the population leaving the church. The ones you have are like nominally part of the faith. They like maybe show up once a year. They're like, yeah, we are culturally Christian, they might say, which is like, we don't really believe, but it's part of our, whole tradition, stuff like that.
And of course there are religious Christians in Denmark, but it's a minority. And it's not to say that this is stupid or wrong or anything. No. It's just that's the culture that we grew up in. And I have nothing against faith or spirituality. I think that's beautiful. I feel spiritual being myself, not in a Christian way.
I'm not a very spiritual person.
No.
I LARP as a witch, mostly because it's very romantic.
I like to feel connected. I like to feel the magic of the world in nature and feel like there is forces that influence our lives. We are a cis-trans couple in the USA who have come to adore you and your wonderful channel.
Hi.
Thank you. We would like to support you in any way we can. Would you list any avenues of support your followers/fans could help to replenish?
That is so nice of you. Thank you so much for wanting to support our little project here. We have a coffee where you can make like a one-time donation to help us buy a cup of coffee or put gas in our car or stuff like that.
Yeah, there's no pressure. But it is immensely appreciated for anyone who feels like they really want to contribute to us in some way. Then it goes on. Also here in the US, we are threatened by anti-LGBTQ right-wing acts by the Republican Party. Do you have a similar threat of this magnitude in Denmark? I hope not. We are more than just a little concerned.
I think what we see there is like a sweeping set of like anti-trans stuff, anti-gay things, anti-women things as a whole. And I think that is really, really quite concerning.
Yeah. And every time these waves come around the world, especially from the US, it permeates the discourse here as well.
So it's like, I think we are seeing a spike or like a rising sentiment here, but it is nothing like what it is in the US.
No.
But I do also, I read somewhere that our Pride organization have been receiving more homophobic calls than they have in many, many years, maybe for the first time in many years. We have something like the LGB Alliance from the UK, which is an organization that is not really here to advance any rights. It is more a protest of trans people being afforded rights right now. Yeah. So it's like the get the T out of the LGB or something called, I think, Regnbuerådet, was that it?
Yeah, the Rainbow Council.
Yeah, their whole thing is basically
really evil, actually.
The Rainbow Council. That's the agenda you want to watch out for. So we are seeing some of it, but we don't really see a lot of high-profile politicians or organizations. As opposed to the US, I think we are still that much more left-leaning in Denmark. So most people will have a "it doesn't hurt me" attitude towards these things, whereas my idea of a lot of especially Christian conservatives in the US, a more moralistic, dogmatic, these have to be the rules, and it would go against my belief if other people can do these other things. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
As someone who's smart. You just get some people being like, "Oh, now it's now I can't say anything funny anymore." It's like, yeah, that was your jokes. You weren't that funny to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. That's all our questions.
That's all the questions we have. Oh my God. Guys, thank you so much. This will be a huge video for me to edit. So thank you so much for all the questions. It was really funny to answer them and like really get into some of the nitty-gritty parts. I hope we did okay. I hope we gave some good answers. As always, thank you for, sticking around and listening to our ramblings and being the best audience we could wish for. We are blessed in that we get so much positivity and so many great comments and awesome viewers, and I just really want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
We couldn't do this without you.
No. Thank you for watching. We hope you liked this video. And if you did, you can subscribe for more. And we try to upload every Sunday, but sometimes life gets in the way. Probably like next week. If you miss us in the meantime, you can come by our Instagram and find us there. And now we're also on TikTok.
Yay!
Links in the description.
Apparently, it is really a thing now. If you want to be sure to get notifications from us, you can hit the bell icon.
A lot of people who subscribe to us never get our videos suggested. So if you want to be sure to get our videos suggested, hit the bell icon.
Ding, ding.
Yes. And we hope to see you next time. Bye! You two are amazing, so cute.
That's not a question, but thank you.
Thank you. Flattery will get you everywhere. Moist. My favorite thing about being gay is having gay sex. No.
Ew.